when we're changing, we always get like a lot of ideas in our heads, and we always get our brain like talking in a very kind of like negative way, like it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't remember the things that we're trying to do to change if we already have the instructions. One of the things that we need to remember about the brain when we are doing something different, when we something related to changing, is this. One, the brain doesn't know really what you're doing when you're changing. It's used to the routine things. It doesn't really like when we start doing things different. And it's actually, the brain thinks that one of the its or probably its main purpose, let's say, is to protect you. And the way to protect you, it's doing the same things over and over, because it knows what's the outcome going to be. Not really adventuring into doing something that are new, which is uncertainty. So the brain is, it's always gonna bring us to a place where we are feeling familiar, and we are feeling certain, and we know what's the outcome, we know what's going on. That's why it's always going against, it usually goes against the language and the commands or the suggestions that you can give it when we're trying to do something different. The brain doesn't know that we want to change. The brain doesn't know that we need to change. It's just reacting in the natural way to put us in a comfortable and a safe place. That's one of the reasons why it doesn't. That's why it's not so easy to remember all the steps when we know what to do, and we have, let's say that we have a changing plan. It's not so easy for the brain to remember that. Why? First, because it's going against its nature, and the second, it's a new thing. And every time we tell it, okay, we need to do this thing different, we're going to do this thing this way now, not the way we did it before, you're going against it, and there's going to be, it's going to reject it, it's going to feel like it's adversity. Therefore, I have to move to a safe place. So it's gonna suggest, it's gonna send you all kinds of signals trying to bring you back to the things that you were doing before. It's gonna use anything in the environment to as a stimuli, trying to convince you that it's not good. The change is not good. That it's something that is not gonna work. Um, if, let's say, for example, if you're trying to change the way you eat, and in the morning you used to have a big bowl of cereal, and they say, okay, let's go ahead and do half a bowl from tomorrow on. So when you have half a bowl of cereal, and then you go to school or you go to work, and the brain is gonna start, you're gonna start feeling right away. Obviously, you're gonna start feeling probably hungry because you're eating less, but the brain is gonna start telling you, probably making you feel like, okay, I'm starting to feel weak. I'm starting. It's not only that I'm hungry, I feel weak. I don't feel very well focused. I cannot concentrate. My stomach is kind of messed up. I mean, it's just anything that happens to you in the environment and inside of you is gonna use it as a stimuli to send it that information to you, saying this is happening because you're trying to do this, the change. And we have to learn, we have to remember, say, okay, this guy talking about the brain is gonna try to make me go back to the things that I was doing before, the way I was doing it before, and is gonna use any excuse to bring me back to be that person again. And when I say any excuse, that's exactly what I mean. The stimuli in the environment and inside of you can be the way you feel, the way you think, the way you're perceiving things, can be the way you're feeling physically, the way you're moving. Anything that happens with you that you don't feel good physically, can use that as part of the stimuli to try to convince you that that change is not worth doing. And another thing that we have to remember is that the brain is a guessing machine. It's gonna is going to ask you, is going to wonder why we're doing this. It's just questioning everything, and because it doesn't really understand yet why we're changing, why are we doing this, is going to question, is going to suggest, is going to doubt, is going to make you feel uncertain. So again, we always go back to pretty much the main goal of it is to keep you to be comfortable and be safe. And being comfortable and being safe is the routine that you were doing before. So it's just going to ask you, it's just going to question you for about everything that you're doing. Even if things are starting to go well, it's still going to take a while for it to accept that this is actually good for me. Why? Because you're still having to do a little bit of effort. You probably have not created the that new change has not become a habit yet. It takes weeks or months to get there. And until you get there, you have to be prepared that all all those things that you're telling yourself, the negative self-talk, the fear, the doubts, feeling that you're probably not good enough to do it, doubting yourself if you're going to be able to make that change, doubting if you're going to be able to change the eating habits or whatever it is that you're trying to change. All that stuff is just part of it's just part of the brain doing what it always wants to do. Again, going back, being safe, being comfortable, doesn't like new things, doesn't really understand in the beginning that it's something that is going to help you, um, help your health, make you probably sleep better, make you feel better with yourself. It just knows that we are changing things, that we are in territory that is unfamiliar, dark, uncertain. The way, and that's the way it's looking at it, and that's the way it's gonna send the message to you, trying to make you feel the same way. So you have to remember, everything around you is gonna be used as a stimuli to push you against it. So you have to be aware of that and just keep on going. I hope it helps, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.